Welcome back to Farming Simulator, and I'm actually recording this video backwards. So I have already recorded the first 2 of 3 tests that I am going to show you. When Kartek and I were farming on Diddly Squat Farm, and we used precision farming and we were planting the new crops, and it appeared to me that this beastie and the other beastie, the Ridger, for the premium DLC has no effect with precision farming. With the base game, I believe it adds a fertilization layer. So I have already done the tests for precision farming with and without ridging, and we will talk about the results of that in a bit, and I'll show you some of the footage of that as well. And I'm now going to do the test for base game. So I've been using this field on Oberon, it's field 12. For precision farming, it was limed and then cultivated. So it had perfect lime, and in this state, it is also limed. It has no fertilizer. So first thing I'm going to do is jump in here, and we are going to start ridging, and I just want to confirm that it does absolutely nothing because I haven't turned it on. Nothing like a professional video, hey? And I hate the way the texture does not naturally line up with the device. Very frustrating, but we are not getting a fertilizing state, so there's that. My understanding was that you did, so that's interesting. Oh well, not sure what's going on there. So this is just a base game map with not many mods installed, so kind of confused. But anyway, we will continue with the test because the main thing that I want to do is see if there's a yield difference between precision farming and base game for the root crops. So I'm going to get this done and I'll be back to talk about the results. So the first thing that I have learnt with base game is that the fertilizing is applied when you plant into ridges. So you can see there is that tiny bit there that didn't get ridged, and you don't get the fertilization state. So that's interesting for, you know, learning. Again, the textures are not lining up, which frustrates me. I could probably nudge it about with the seeder, but I just want to get this job done and then get this field harvested for the 3rd time. I forgot to say I'm doing it with carrots because as the highest yielding crop, we will get the most off of this relatively small area, which hopefully gives us the best chance of getting a relatively accurate result. Yeah, so as I said, I'm going to get this planted, I will fertilize it, and then we will skip time and get it harvested. So just finishing up harvesting the without precision farming test. I'm running an edited trailer because the first harvest, well, it didn't took ages, so for the second 2 I used this edited trailer which holds loads. And you can see we got 96,106 litres off of the field. So that's kind of our baseline of what we get without precision farming. So now with precision farming, so you can see the state of the field, the pH is perfect. As I said, I had limed this and then cultivated it so that we could get to work. The nitrogen is pretty awful, but we will fix that later on. In terms of settings, I had crop destruction. I actually turned that off to make harvesting easier. Periodic ploughing on, fieldstone off, and weeds off. And I had weeds off so it wasn't a varying factor between the 2. And there is currently our environmental score. So environmental score wasn't really a goal of this video, but I am going to touch on it towards the end. So starting off with ridging, you'll see it does skip a little bit there. It did that in every test, so I really don't think it matters, and you'll see that when we get to the results of doing all of the testing. Yeah, I am going to slightly spoil the result by saying that I was a little disappointed with the integration of precision farming and the DLC. So as we saw a little while ago with the DLC, without precision farming, if you ridge and then plant, you get a free fertilization state. So the ridging process has a benefit. The ridging process doesn't, the ridging and then planting into the ridged ground does not affect the nitrogen in the ground. So it's not giving you a fertilization bonus. Now I know that it doesn't actually increase nitrogen. It's just that that would be a way of giving you a free yield bonus. So, yep, it does not do that. I don't think I show the nitrogen map at this point, but you'll have to take my word for it that it does not make a difference to how much nitrogen appears to be on the field. And in both cases, I had to fertilize the field and apply the same amount of nitrogen. So yeah, the kind of, I guess the question that's left, is there any other kind of yield benefit that's being factored in precision farming? Now there hasn't been an update to precision farming, so that might give you a hint about the answer. I do really like this sprayer. This sprayer is part of the premium DLC, and yeah, it's a really nice bit of kit. Cars can even drive under it, and this is in the 36-meter configuration. So yeah, very cool, very nice bit of kit. We'll just finish running up the field. There you can see there we still had the sort of 20 kilograms of nitrogen we had at the start, so no real difference. And this is me finishing the first harvest where I used normal trailers, and it took me 6 trailers to do. And yeah, I kind of got a bit fed up of that. It took quite a while to harvest. The yield you get off carrots is pretty nuts, and even with quite a small field and using the biggest harvester in the game, it's quite time consuming. This is the first time that I've done much with the root crops, particularly going all the way through the cycle. So yeah, made me appreciate just how much work it was. So we'll just finish this last row up. So as a prelude, because we're pretty much finished, so from this run off of precision farming, it told us we got 122,444 litres, and in the trailers I had 120,000. So that's versus the baseline that we had previously of 96,160. So I forgot to write it down, so I just had to go back and check. Super smooth, I know. So yeah, we do get a higher yield with precision farming, and the reason that I think for that is this field has some good soil in it. So we've got some bits of the field where we're getting 125% yield. So with precision farming, you do get more. So that's cool. You know, for essentially the same amount of work, you get more crop. So that is a bonus. And that was something that I'd kind of forgotten with how this would work, is that, you know, the different soil types do give you a higher yield. So that's kind of cool. And yeah, we'll just check quickly on precision farming to show you those numbers. There you go, 122,444 litres. So we're now going to do the same thing, but without ridging it. So let's make a start. This will work into cultivated ground. Kartik and I did test that on Diddley Squatter Farm, and yeah, it'll plant in. You get a slightly different texture. You don't get the ridge texture, obviously, because you're not putting ridges in. It's a lot more like the sugar beet texture. But the big question is, do you get any more? Do you get any benefit from doing it? So That's what we're going to find out. So I'm going to go through the same process. I'm going to get this field planted, we'll spray it, and then I'll harvest it, and we'll see how much we end up with. So just finished the harvest, and oh, now we have one more strip to go. As we finish this last row, we end up with 121,749,000 litres in the trailer, and Precision Farming saying 122,511 litres. So a difference of about 70 litres according to Precision Farming. And that's within the era of the game. So no, ridging does not make a difference when you play with Precision Farming. You do not get a fertilization bonus that I can see. And you do not get any sort of yield bonus. So it's kind of up to you whether you want to do it for the visual effect, which you can't actually see once the crop's grown in particularly, or whether you want to just skip that process. You know, your choice really depends on how you want to play. So just to recap, with Precision Farming, depending on the soil type, you will get a different yield, possibly more, possibly less, but ridging does not make a difference. So yeah, hope you have enjoyed this video and found it somewhat useful. If you have, click the like button. Comments, questions, suggestions, what did I do wrong? Stick it below. So yeah, just to confirm the tillage, you get a 5, so it doesn't count as direct drilling. So that's something that you've got to cope with or deal with, put up with. And yeah, I will see you next time.